right. The notice requirement provided for the open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given. Said notice having been transmitted
Recording
to the
in
Courier
progress.
News on Tuesday, January 16th, as well as posting on the city's website. Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Council members Briggs Jones. Present. Councilwoman Cherry.
Present.
Councilman McCray.
Present.
Councilwoman Sessoms.
Present.
Councilman Wyatt.
Present.
Let the record reflect that Councilman is present remotely. Vice President Graham.
Present.
Council President Hockaday.
Present.
We have all members present and a quorum.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and stand for the invocation.
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all those who work for justice and for peace. Amen.
Amen. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 11th, 2024?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. We're going to initiate the meetings celebrating our men and women on the Plainfield High School basketball team. We're so proud of their seasons. Was able to witness many council people, mayors, everybody all out as a community watching you young men and young women play and make us so proud. The season was a great season, and it was just a pride and joy to be from Plainfield to see you all perform so admirably. And this is just the beginning, right? We got another year, another season, where we're looking forward to watching you and supporting you through the ups and downs, all right? So it's awesome. So I'm going to invite, we'll do ladies first. So the women, I'm just going to read a resolution, and if any members of the women's basketball team and their coaches can come up, and families if you'd like, and I'll give you the resolution. Council people can join as well. Okay, so I'm not going to read the entire resolution. But I will read the Plainfield High School high school girls basketball team promising to start the season, highlighted by victories in divisional play to a remarkable record of 11-1, earned in the title of Union County Conference Mountain Division champions, a feat not accomplished in over 40 years, underscoring their historic achievement. This is a historic team. Give a round of applause for this team. Amazing. I'll allow, if anyone wants to speak, then they can just speak up on behalf of the team. And you can just say thank you. You don't have to give a whole speech, but you know, you got supporters out there. You heard how loud those claps were.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you, and I appreciate everyone that came to our games and supported us through it all.
Thank you, Council President. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and all assembled here. Wow, it's a great day. I'm Assemblywoman Linda Carter, and I know that you all just got back up and just sat back down. We're going to ask you to come right on back up here again, and because you are so deserving. On behalf of Senate President Nick Scutari, Assemblyman Jim Kennedy, and myself, all of the state legislature, we are so proud of you. We congratulate you on doing what you do, not only on the court, but also what you're doing in the classrooms. Please keep mindful that these are scholar athletes, and they are doing their thing. They are more than just, taking a ball and bouncing a ball around. They are strategizing, they are coordinating, they are working together, they are making sure that they use all the tools that they have in their toolbox to move them along on that court. And that's not an easy task, but it's also what you guys are doing in your classroom, because you're also beating the odds. Congratulations, keep up the great work. I have citations for each of your team members and all. I'm going to give them to the coaches because I don't want to give them to the wrong individuals. But again, on behalf of Senate President Nick Scutari, Assemblyman Jim Kennedy, and myself, representing Legislative District 22, and living right here in Plainfield, you make us proud, and you'll continue to make us proud. Thank you.
We'll also have our young men as well come up, members of the men basketball team. All right, some absolute ballers, again, in the classroom and on the court. Some exciting games we were able to witness in the playoffs. It's just a special feeling when your team is able to be in the playoffs and to see them fight, with everything on the line. These are gentlemen that have so much grit and resilience that they displayed on the court. It's just an honor to be here today. So I'm just going to present this resolution. And what I will say, I won't read the whole thing, but the team's achievements included victories over 4 top 20 ranked opponents, including Elizabeth, Linden, Arts, and Phillipsburg, as well as being crowned the champions of the Joe Silver Holiday Tournament. Just a highlight of what these young men have done. Anybody want to give just a quick congratulations?
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of our head coach, Mike Gordon, we appreciate the acknowledgement, and we are elated to bring the city together while making a run. The ultimate goal is to bring a championship back to Plainfield. We aren't done yet, and we are ecstatic to have the school administration and the city of Plainfield support. More work is going to be done. You will see these young men running throughout the city as we prepare for the next year's run. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you something. When you look around this room, we do see excellence here in the city of Plainfield. Not only our girls, but also our boys. what you all are doing, not just on the court, but in your classrooms, in your school, and in our community, is truly amazing. And again, on behalf of Senate President Nick Scutari, Assemblyman Jim Kennedy, myself, we want to congratulate you for what you have done, because you stayed the course. You made sure that you took what you had in the classroom and you put your knowledge and your thought and all of that learning to the courts. And guess what? You continue to soar, and you're going to continue to soar as you climb through your high school years. Congratulations.
Council and the mayor join us for a picture. Okay, Council Vice President Graham will take over with resolutions he has for Plainfield police officers and their heroic efforts. Go right ahead. Sure. Yeah, so the basketball team, you're welcome to stay for the meeting, but you also, it's okay if you have homework to do. You're welcome. You got homework, right? I figured. Take care.
Got a lot of work to do, he said.
Can the rest of the council come join me up here as well, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. As our council members come up and acknowledge these great officers, I'd like you to allow me a few moments just to tell their story, and I hope I get it right. It was an ordinary day in Plainfield, and these officers behind me, they were they were on traffic duty. I'm sorry, not traffic duty. Traffic jobs at a construction site. The PSC&G work that you see going on around town, they were just posted there. There was a chase in North Plainfield with a minivan. North Plainfield chased them into Plainfield. They aborted their chase. The minivan enters our town. They come up on a lady and they shoot at her car. Lady doesn't realize that her car was shot at. Didn't know that she just heard gunshots. Didn't know until later that this gentleman had shot her car. As he enters into the town, He's driving around at a high rate of speed. He sees a man on his bicycle, and he deliberately runs this man over on his bike, kills the man. That's the only part that you heard on the news. What you didn't hear is all the behind-the-scenes things that we're going to talk about tonight. Detective Tyler James, who isn't here with us, Lieutenant Christopher Sylvester, and Sergeant Brian Oliver. Detective Tyler James has the street blocked off. Sergeant Brian Oliver is in his car. The gentleman rams his car through the road stop. Detective Tyler James dives out the way just in time because that man was coming for him. And as the van is coming through that roadblock, he hits Tyler James's vehicle. Then he runs into Sergeant Brian Oliver's car, making the car spin into the air. Sergeant Brian Oliver is unconscious. At that time, the gentleman fires 2 shots from his gun. Brian hears the gunshots, comes to, because at that point, he felt like his life was going to be over if he did not get out of the car in time. At that time, Detective Tyler James orders the man to drop his weapon. Man drops his weapon, then he runs. Then he comes back to retrieve his weapon. And it's at that time, Sergeant Brian Oliver fires 2 shots at the man. So God was on everyone's side because Brian nor Lieutenant Christopher Sylvester did not get shot. This man was on some type of drugs, some strong drugs, where he felt no pain. When Lieutenant Christopher Sylvester arrived, he tackled the man, and it took the fight of his life to bring this man to justice. And you can see how big lieutenants, these guys are, but it took a lot to bring this guy down. And so these guys are heroes, and I wanted to give them their acknowledgments. Thank you. And so these officers have their resolutions that I won't read out loud because there's 3 separate resolutions for these 3 officers. And before we begin to take our pictures, I want our PBA president to come up and get in the picture with us. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I would like to thank Councilman Graham for bringing this up to us. I was kind of surprised this morning when I got his phone call about this. 21 years of my career, I've been here, been in a lot of crazy incidents. This was probably the worst, most crazy incident we've been involved in. This guy was out trying to kill everybody. And luckily, unfortunately, somebody lost his life that day, but we had the right guys in the right place at the right time to take him down without anybody getting hurt. We all survived, and we appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Graham. Thank you, Plainfield City Council, city administrators, and thank you to citizens of Plainfield for giving us the opportunity to serve you.
Good evening. For those who don't know, my name is James Abney. I'm the police director of this great police department, the Plainfield Police Department in the city of Plainfield. These actions are just a few of the actions that are taken by the men and women of the Plainfield Police Department on a daily basis to make our city safe. I am thankful that Councilman Graham wanted to reach out and acknowledge some of the actions that have, some of the duties and responsibilities that some of our officers have taken over the years. This is not a job that we take lightly. We're doing everything we can to make this city a safer place to live, work, and play on a daily basis. And I'd like to say thank you to the both of you.
All right, I'll invite the mayor up for a presentation to the Tennis Association.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Lonnie Taylor, Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, and our mayor was gracious enough to give us a proclamation honoring National Tennis Month, which is Learn to Play Tennis Month, which is the month of May. We're doing it now so you all can come to the courts in May with all these wonderful programs that we have. And we also wanted to show you who's recognizing tonight all the entities that coordinate tennis in the city of Plainfield. We have a representative we have the president of the USTA, representative for the state of New Jersey. We have Andreas here. They have a presentation for you there, so I'll let him talk later. We have representatives from the Plainfield Public Schools here. We have our varsity coaches, Carl Dean and David Chung, and we have their team. I have Dr. Inez Durham, who's the coordinator for tennis for the city of Plainfield under Parks and Recreation. I have Hollis Williams and Ingrid Floyd, representatives from the Netherwood Tennis Association. I have Curtis Brown. Young. I'm having like a moment, Curtis. I'm sorry. Curtis Young, representative from the Donald Van Blake Tennis and Education Association. Andres, I have you from the USTA. So everyone's here tonight because in Plainfield plays tennis. We've all worked together to share all the resources we have to do quality programs to the youth and residents for the city of Plainfield. And while we're representing tennis tonight, next month I'll be bringing you National Learn to Play Pickleball Month, but we won't confuse the two. And in honor of our mayor, we're moving, since Learn to Play Tennis Month is in May, we're moving our signature event, Plainfield Plays Tennis, to Sunday, May 19th. We normally would have posted it in June, but we're moving it to May 19th. And Mayor, I just want to let you know that Hazel has promised me we're going to have a court devoted to Barbadian road tennis. So we just showed out what that is. So we're gonna display that at Plainfield Plays Tennis this year. So we're gonna let you know. So I'll let, if you would, with your permission, of course, the representative from New Jersey State USTA would like to make a comment, and they have a gift for you, if that's all right.
That's perfectly fine, but we have our
Oh, and your resolution, yes,
Our
yes.
proclamation,
Your
yeah.
proclamation. Thank y'all.
Okay, so we wanted to hand out these proclamations, just honoring you and all of the work that you do in Plainfield and bringing tennis to our community. So I have one for each representative here. And you want to come up and say something?
Oh.
You want to?
It's a great honor for us representing USTA. I'm from the New Jersey Council, a director, president of New Jersey USTA. Thank you for everything. Thanks, everyone. Because of you guys, we are here. Thanks. Yeah, Andrew. Okay. As well.
Come there and get it.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Floyd. I'm a board member of the Netherwood Tennis Club, a little-known club that a lot of people doesn't know exists. We're on Coolidge Street, right off of 7th Street. We are thankful to Veronica, to the mayor, and to the city for all the investments that you've made for community tennis. If people haven't seen it, we have the most amazing courts in this area that includes several new facilities and several that have been recently renovated. So we thank you for your investment in tennis and continuing to allow community tennis to be a part of Plainfield. Thank you.
Our varsity coaches.
Hi, my name is Dave Chung. I represent Plainfield High School in girls and boys varsity tennis. And I just want to let you guys know that they built a brand new facility for us and also for the city. And you all need to come down one day and probably come and play on the courts and hopefully on that day that we have that special. So we want to welcome everyone to the tennis court. We want more parents to come, please, to support. And in addition to that, look at all these young players we have. We're going to grow even more each and every year, thanks to Plainfield.
Hi, Curtis Young from the Donald Van Blake Tennis and Education Foundation. We hold programs throughout the year for the kids in the community because that's what Mr. Van Blake found this organization for. So we're looking forward to being part of the activities here in Plainfield, and we just hope that everybody comes out and take advantage of these opportunities that are here in Plainfield as far as tennis and pickleball. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Inez Durham, the coordinator for the Recreation Department's tennis program. I think this is a wonderful day to recognize tennis. I thank you, Mayor, and I thank you, Council. You know, it was in 2014 that a few of us from Plainfield, I could think of Renee, Ralph, and Willetta Bicote, we presented Ronnie with an idea. Our idea was that more people in Plainfield should play tennis on the courts in Plainfield. And we felt that it should be the Recreation Department to lead that. So we wrote a little grant, got some help from USTA, and we had our first Plainfield Plays Tennis in 2014. And since then, as they say, the rest is history. Through collaborations with the other tennis organizers and with our parents and with the wonderful support of the mayor and the council, Plainfield now has some of the greatest tennis facilities in the state. And our Plainfield in the parks is the envy of every community around us. I thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the counseling for allowing us to help Plainfield play tennis.
So I'll be very brief in my comments. There's no coincidence that I took office in 2014. That's not a coincidence. But I also want to commend all of you, the coaches and everyone that's involved in tennis in the city of Plainfield. The investment that has been made by our public school district, as well as by the city of Plainfield, is a demonstration of how we feel about tennis, our commitment to this sport, ensuring that the facilities are available so that you could play at your best level and that the facilities will be conducive to you excelling in this sport. And so we commend you, we thank you for your involvement. I thank Ronnie as the superintendent for recreation for her leadership in this area, and rest assured that we will continue to provide the support and the resources with the support of our governing body, because we can't do it without them, to make sure that tennis continues to thrive in the city of Plainfield. Thank you, and God bless all of you. Set us up, Mr. Cameraman.
Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, that was awesome. It's always good when we can applaud aspects of our community that make us better. It makes us a more desirable place to work, live, and play. And that's just a highlight of some of the things that we offer here in Plainfield. So I'm looking forward to learning how to play tennis. All right, pickleball too. Okay, we have ordinances MC 2024-13 through MC 2024-18, which are scheduled for public hearing, second hearing, and final passage for the regular meeting as advertised. Okay, regarding legislative items R 182-24 through R 186-24, do we have a consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay. Those items are added to the voting meeting. Would the business administrator please present their items?
Yes, Council President, we have 4 items for your consideration tonight.
Nope.
Okay, so we have a resolution recognizing May as National Tennis Month, which we just went over. We have the reappointments of 2 people to the Alcohol Beverage Control Board. We have a resolution in support of converting existing and underutilized railroad tracks to be walking and bike paths in New Jersey, and this is a resolution of support that we want to send down to the state so that the state can keep funding doing things like this. They just recently provided $1.5 million to transfer the Rahway Valley line that is no longer in use into a bike and pedestrian path, and it's been a great success. So we're hoping that they will continue to support initiatives like that, and we could potentially see that in Plainfield one day. And then finally, we have our resolution to use Cedar Brook Park for $13,000 with the county, and that would be for July 4th, the fireworks and concert, which would actually be on July 5th this year.
Okay. Do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition or abstentions? Okay. Clerk, you may add those. The Department of Finance, will the Finance Director present their items?
Good afternoon, all. I have 6 items for your approval. First one is the introduction of the 2024 municipal budget for the current fund, for the parking utility, for the sewer utility, and for the solid waste utility. Second one is resolution authorizing the adoption of the current fund temporary appropriations budget. This is 4 grants were added to the temporary budget. Third one is the resolution to reappropriate certain grant reserve balances associated with ARPA funds. Fourth one is resolution eliminating the need for taxpayer signature as claimant certification on tax refunds. This is where some taxpayers are due a refund and we would send them the PO to sign and they're not aware of what they have to do, and some POs are still sitting out there. So this is to eliminate the signature so we can go ahead and process those and get them off the books. And then there's a resolution authorizing approval to cancel interest and NSF fees on Block 934, Lot 31. This taxpayer had made the payment online, and for some reason it was rejected. And it's not the taxpayer's fault. The payment was made in time, and we want to not charge them the NSF fees and to cancel the interest that was charged to their account. And the last one is the resolution authorizing approval to issue tax refund on various properties. The various properties that are due a tax refund are for overpayment, and there are quite a few, so we just put them all into one resolution.
Okay, any questions from council members? Okay, do we have consensus to add this to the voting agenda? Yes.
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions?
Yes.
Yes.
President, just for the record, 191 for the introduction of the budget has to be voted on separately. So to
Okay.
record the votes.
Will do. Thank you. All right, so the remaining items are added to the voting meeting. Will the police director please present his items? Yeah, try it again. Let me- Try to bring your mic a little closer. I'm not sure if it's registering.
Can you hear me now?
There
Yeah,
it
you
is.
can hear me now. All right, let me try it. Let me start again.
Okay.
Sir, I have 2 items for your approval. The first one is for the City of Plainfield's Police Department to purchase 6 handheld radios for the officers that they use on a daily basis. These radios are broken quite often, and we need some new radios. We need new equipment, and that's what that's about. The second one is a professional service contract with Lexipol. They are the accreditation manager that we use. As you know, the department was accredited last year. This is an expense that we need to keep everything in line so that we stay accredited on a daily basis every year. We want to make sure that everything we're doing is up to par and it's the best that it can be. That's all I have.
Any questions from council members? Do we have consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Any abstentions or opposition? Okay, we'll go ahead and add those to the meeting. Will the fire director please present his items? Good evening.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
I have one resolution for you tonight, and that will be for awarding a contract to Protective Paving for the improvements at Fire Station Engine 3, which is on Bergen and West 3rd Street.
Any questions from council members? Okay, do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting? Yes. Any opposition or abstentions? Okay, that shall be added. Okay, Department of Public Works, proceed.
Good evening, Mr. Council President, members of the council. The Department of Public Works has 4 resolutions to present. Resolution R-224 is resolution authorizing approval of a contract for traffic signal installation at Central Avenue with Pinoni Associates. Resolution 20124 is resolution authorized professional service contract with Pinoni Associates for Route 28. Resolution 20224, resolution authorized approval to submit a grant application to Union County Infrastructure Municipal Aid for parking lot improvements. And resolution R-20324, resolution authorized a clean and lean totaling $6,831.61. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? Hearing none, this is added to the voting meeting. Okay. The Department of Economic Development, please present your
Good
items.
evening, Council.
Good evening.
I have resolutions 204-24 through resolution 213-24. The first resolution is to authorize a grant application. This is not to exceed $75,000 from the New Jersey Historic Trust. This will allow us to develop a historic preservation plan for the former YMCA building that is intended to become the center of excellence. It does require a 25% match, so that match will not exceed $18,750. The next resolution is to designate a developer, Vita LLC. This is for the address of 1092 to 1098 Arlington Ave. This is going to be a 3-story residential building, including 22 units, of which 5 will be affordable, so 20% affordable. There will be 22 parking spaces. It does also authorize a purchase agreement. So this is a purchase from the city for the land, which is the address, for $400,000. The next resolution is also a designation of a developer, Lopez Home Improvement. This is for the address 213 to 15 Richmond Street. This is to construct a 2-family dwelling. The next resolution is to re-examine TODD South redevelopment plan. The purpose of re-examining the redevelopment plan, this will allow us to have permitted 3-bedroom units. The reason why we need to have 3-bedroom units, this will give us an opportunity to go after more affordable opportunities with developers. The next resolution is to designate a study, a redevelopment area, and to move forward with a redevelopment plan for the West Front Street properties, which are 1502 to 1520 West Front Street, as well as a Liberty Street property, 118 to 126. The next one is also to designate a redevelopment area and to prepare a redevelopment plan. This is for 25 Clinton Avenue. This will allow for additional parking for development. The next one is also to designate a redevelopment area and to prepare a redevelopment plan. This is for 953 to 955 West 4th Street. Then I am on resolution 211-24. This is designating 1123 West 7th Street LLC as the redeveloper. This is for the developer to construct a 3-story residential building, including 46 units, 5 of which will be affordable, so 10% affordable, 46 parking spaces. The next resolution is also to designate a redeveloper. This is for 1314 West Front Street LLC. This will be a 5-story building, 91 units, 10 of which will be affordable, for 10% affordable and 1,000 square feet of retail space and 100 parking spaces. The next resolution is to move forward with the designation of a non-condemnation redevelopment area and prepare a plan. This is to note what's been added to the clauses of the resolution. It is in accord to work with the church and the property owner to make sure there is adequate shared parking, as well as we move into the redevelopment plan, to consider excluding the uses of residential and cannabis. And that concludes.
Question from council members of the Economic Development Director.
R 205-24. How many units did you say that was? R 205-24.
That's a total of 22 units, 5 affordable.
Any other questions, Councilwoman?
No. And the R 213-14, that's the property with the church? Is that with the church? St. Bernard's Church?
Yes.
Am I
it
correct?
is. Yes, it is. The church parking lot.
For our 21224, is there a pilot on this?
So we're not at that stage yet. Right now, we're just at the redevelopment agreement.
Councilman Graham? Any questions? Any questions? Go right ahead.
Yes. Regarding 205-24, you mentioned that it's 20% affordable. And then 211-24, 10% affordable, and 212-24, 10% affordable. Given the size of our city and the issue of affordable housing, can you talk a little bit about why 10% seems to be our threshold, and is there other opportunities where we can actually increase that?
So 10% isn't our threshold. We ask anywhere up to 100% for the threshold. It depends on a negotiation with the developer. As the mayor mentioned, I believe it was last September, there's a goal of 1,000 affordable units over the next 5 years. So far, we have a total of about 200 affordable units since he made that statement, one of which was 100% affordable, and they vary down. So the 10 to 20% does add up. Then what we have negotiated on the horizon, we have about another 400 affordable units that should come online definitely before the end of the calendar year for agreement, if not by June. So the affordability to get 100% affordable units, it requires different types of financing. So we have to work with a developer that's used to working with that business model.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Regarding 204-24, you said that this is to have a plan created regarding historic preservation. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. So this is the former YMCA building that's located at 512 to 524 Watchon Avenue. And what this will allow us to do is make sure that we can designate this building as historic, including preserving the facade as historic, and that will allow us to go after additional funding for the construction of the Center of Excellence.
Thank you for that.
Regarding 21324, I know that one of the issues with that was the shared parking between the owner and St. Bernard's Church. Are you now aware of a deed of easement that cements the parking arrangement that's there?
So in the deed for the current owner, first, they definitely have to give the church, which is the property owner that they purchased it from, first right of refusal for the property, and they also have to maintain the parking easement for the new owners.
Okay. All right, thank you. And then we also added a prohibition against residential redevelopment and cannabis use?
Yes, we did.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from council members?
I'm sorry, I just want clarification regarding, I'm sorry, the one pertaining to the church property.
213?
213, thank you for that. The parking lot is property or belongs to who? The actual company that's looking to sell their company?
So in block 458, lot 2.01, that belongs to St. Bernard's Church. The property owner that's looking to sell their property is block 458, lot 2.
And we've been in communication with the church.
Yes, we've been in communication with the church itself, the father, as well as the New Jersey Diocese and their land use attorneys. We've had several communications at every step, including when we notify that we're doing the redevelopment study, and as we move forward, the property owner or the developer will also be required to notify the church of every step.
And the church had no concerns? Thank you.
Okay.
Question. Hear me?
Go right ahead, Councilman Wyatt.
Yes, on the one that we were just speaking about, 21324, we received emails saying that there was no communication with the church, but you said that you did communicate with them, correct?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and I know that the clause is now in the resolution as well, but did they resolve the issues that they brought before us at the last meeting?
So I believe the issue was the parking. So at the last meeting, the current property owner was here and did commit to a shared parking agreement. That commitment is still in place.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Do we have consensus to move all of these to the voting meeting, with the exception of 213, which I'll abstain from?
I say no on R213-14. No.
Okay, so do we have consensus to all except for, with the exception of 213?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any opposition or abstentions? All right. Will the Department of Health and Social Services present their items?
Good evening, Council. I have one item for presentation. That is a professional service agreement with Lou Environmental Services to do professional services for dust wipe. The state, through DCA, Department of Community Affairs, mandates all municipalities to do lead testing for all 1, 2, 3, and 4 multifamily apartments. And generally, they're pre-1978. Those who are exempt are those who are currently being built, of course, and those who have already got their certification. But we need this company to do that work for us. They will do all of it, from contacting the owners, to educating the owners on why this law is in place, to scheduling time for them to come out and do the dust wipes. If they have to do any kind of post work or referral work, they will do that. They are also required and mandated by the state to keep the records because a dust wipe is valid for 3 years, so they are required to keep that information for us, and they will be the recorder of records when it comes to those documents. So I do ask for approval for this resolution. Thank you.
Any questions from council members?
Yes, Director. Just want to clarify if the property owners have the option to hire their own inspector to do their own inspection their lead inspection?
They have the option to hire their own certified lead inspector, and I have to make that clear. But we still have to go and make sure that it's done. There's some certain documentations that they have to present saying that it was done, and we just have to verify that information.
Okay, and can you explain the difference between lead-free and lead-safe?
Sure. So lead-free is, there's nothing in the house. There's no lead, and those usually are houses post-1978. So those tend not to have any lead. Lead-safe is things may have been done to encapsulate that lead. For instance, if the paint is not chipping and it's clearly on the wall, it's not chipping, it's safe, that tends to be lead-safe.
Thank you, Director.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from council members?
Question.
Excuse my bad.
No problem. Have we figured out how we will make this information available to the public to let them know that, you know, this is happening so that they're not caught off guard?
Sure. So those individuals or owners of those properties will receive official notification outlining what has to be done and why this has to be done. And the company Lou will also do that for us as well. Lou Environmental, I meant to say. You're welcome.
Director Brown, if they find lead in the home, what are the next steps?
They will be referred, well, they have to get it fixed. And so if it happens that there are children in the building, they will be referred to a certain agency that may help them do that remediation. If it's not child involved, child-centered, they will just have to, unfortunately, take on that cost.
Okay. Any other questions?
The owner of it, not the tenant, the owner. Just want to make that clear.
Okay, do we have consensus to add this item to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any opposition or abstentions? Okay, it should be added to the voting meeting. The Department of Communications and Technology, please present your item.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I have one item for your consideration, and it's really, last month I presented a resolution asking for permission to accept a grant from the DCA, and they reached back out to us and said that they wanted the verbiage amended. So I amended the verbiage, and they're also awarding us an additional $500,000. So this resolution is just to accept that grant with the amended verbiage and the additional amount.
Any questions from council members?
What's the contract period for the grant?
Pardon me?
The contract period that you have to spend the dollars?
I'm not sure. I can get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No questions, but I just want to acknowledge the hard work on obtaining this grant. You know, $500,000 is not a slight chunk of change. So again, congratulations, and, you know, keep up the good work with looking for grants to help offset cost.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have consensus to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any opposition or abstentions? Okay, that shall be added. The Department of Sewer and Solid Waste, please present your item.
Hi, I'm going to speak for Director Louise.
Sure.
So you may be aware that there was a sewer line collapse at the 1600 block of West Front about 2 weeks ago. And at that time, the Sewer and Solid Waste Department had to find a vendor to come and fix the collapse. It was obviously an emergency situation, so we didn't have time to wait until this meeting. They did hire a vendor. It cost $261,468.75. And it's all been fixed. Everything is taken care of. Hopefully that would not happen again. So we're coming back to you now because this is the nearest council meeting to seek your approval for that.
Okay, any questions from council members?
No.
We have consent to add this to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Okay, any opposition or abstentions? All right, it shall be added. Okay, let's see. Okay, would the business administrator present the items on first reading? MC 2024-19 through MC 2024-23.
Okay, so we have 5 ordinances for you to consider on first reading this evening. The first one is adopting the East Third Entertainment District redevelopment plan that was brought from the planning board, and that is obviously to include entertainment in that district. The second one is related to the parking issues that the residents of West End Ave have been having on the weekends, and this is an ordinance to have no parking from 10 to 8 on both sides of the street on Saturdays and Sundays. That runs into the park over there, so that's why it's been very congested, obviously, as it gets nicer out. The third one is the one that you see every year, the ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits to establish the cap bank. It's obviously an annual ordinance that we do, just in case. Then we have an ordinance amending the hours of the, for consumption lounges for our liquor stores, our bars. And the reason why we're putting this forward is because we are looking to be more competitive with our neighboring municipalities and have similar opening hours to what they have. This would help our bars establish, this would help them to get acts, more performers that would be willing to come to Plainfield rather than a place that's going to allow them to perform for longer. It also, we now have 3 new licenses that we can give out, liquor licenses, and we're looking to find the most reputable establishments that would come to Plainfield. And so we need to be competitive with our neighbors in terms of opening hours so that they feel inclined to come here. And then last but not least, we have an ordinance related to what Director Brown was just talking about. This is the ordinance that's going to codify what DCA requires in terms of lead inspections with the new legislation that we've talked about multiple times for units that were constructed before 1978. And this will also add a fee schedule for people who violate and don't make the appropriate abatement.
Okay. Any questions from council members?
Yes, if you don't mind. My question has to do with 2 of the ordinances. One of them is the 2024-20, specifically Chapter 16, and the 2024-22. So the proposed hours for the bar and some of the parking schedules for the streets, we're proposing to be, for the bars to be open after 2, but as of 2 a.m., there's no parking on certain streets, and we don't know where those bars are going to be or those new liquor licenses are going to go. So I think that somehow we should amend some of the parking, because it's like you get to stay in the bar until 4, but because of the parking schedules, you have to leave at 2 a.m. because after 2, you're going to get a ticket.
Yeah, that's something that we're going to talk about internally. Like you said, we don't know those location of the next 3, where the next 3 liquor licenses will go. So we don't know where those establishments may be, if they would be in parking, in places that have restricted parking or not. But in terms of the bars that currently do exist, we are going to look at the parking situation there.
And I would assume that if the new establishments open, they're going to open in places where there's zone. And I see some of these streets like Church Street, that's certainly probably a destination, and some of the other streets that are in our commercial zone. So, yeah, I don't know if you want us to vote on this, or are you going to amend it?
Well, they're 2 separate issues. So those two things wouldn't be combined. So we're looking to amend you're talking about Chapter 16A. That's only,
Yes.
We're only talking about West End Ave today.
Okay.
And
okay.
then the supplementing the hours for the bars is also a separate ordinance. So
Okay.
if we were coming back about different hours about commercial districts, that would be another day.
Sure. Okay.
And I would just make a PSA that if you're going to be at a bar till 4, please take an Uber.
That MC 2024-20, I am happy about that, because that street, particular area, it's very, very congested. And, people are going to church, and they're moving about their day, and the streets are very cluttered. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping and I'm sure that the cops will be monitoring this and going by and checking to make sure that there's nobody parked there. It has caused problems. As a matter of fact, there was a lady also that was down there. Every now and again, she was on the street selling some items like some ice cream and some other things that she was doing, which is a health issue also as well if she doesn't have a permit. So for the Western Avenue, this is kudos. I'm happy about this because it goes straight into North Plainfield also as well. So hopefully, I'm sure North Plainfield is going to be enforcing something too.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from council members regarding this? The
So,
ordinance.
yeah, if I may add a few comments regarding the hours for the bars to be open. You know, when I go out to these other places and other municipalities that have these longer hours, they're usually patronized by a younger crowd. So I don't want to be selfish and say, hey, I'm 50, I don't drink anymore and I don't hang out late anymore. I don't want to take away from the younger generation. It's their turn to enjoy life, and and if we could possibly benefit from having those patrons and that crowd, especially the mature crowd, to patronize our businesses in town. Yeah, we don't want to lose those customers because they are working young adults. That's all I want to say.
Thanks.
BA, when you mentioned to keep in line with the hours of operation for MC 2024-2022, what are their hours? Are they similar?
Yeah, they're similar to what we're proposing. So, for example, if you went out in Rahway Monday through Saturday, you could stay out till 3 a.m. They would be open till 3 a.m. In Linden on the weekend, also 3 a.m. In Elizabeth, also 3 a.m. North Plainfield is 2 a.m. But again, we're a little bigger than North Plainfield, and so I would say that the others are more similarly situated to us.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other? Okay, do we have a consensus to add these items to the voting meeting?
Yes.
Okay, any opposition or abstentions?
Abstaining from 2024-22.
Okay. You want to pull that from the voting meeting, and we'll vote on that separately? Oh, they're all first reading anyway, so sounds good. All right, we'll recess for 5 minutes and come back to the voting meeting.
So moved.
Okay, we will convene.
Recording in progress.
I know she just sat down, but Councilwoman Dr. Darcella Sessoms, I'm going to invite you up to the front to present, to just discuss a short resolution that we have on the agenda.
Good evening, Council President, Council colleagues, and administration. 2 weeks ago, we presented a resolution to the family of Miss B.B. Luzeau, who passed away. And I just want to read a little bit about her and her connection to the city of Plainfield. Her family moved to Plainfield in the late 1800s. Her father-in-law was Timothy Luzeau Sr. and served as the president of the Plainfield Board of Education and president of Muhlenberg Hospital. Her husband was the late Timothy Luzeau Jr. and owner of T.R. Luzeau Fuel Company from 1926 to the 1980s. Miss Beebe was an active Girl Scout leader who contributed and enriched the lives of many young Plainfield Girl Scouts. She was a Brownie Troop leader all the way up to a senior Girl Scout leader. During her time, she exposed the girls to troop traveling, camping, skiing, canoeing, cooking, sewing, and many other activities. Annual trips for the troop included a Mother's Day excursion. She also took time to love and counsel the girls and young women in her troops. She served as a role model and welcomed the girls into her home by providing a safe and welcome environment free from discourse. Many of these Girl Scouts became her daughter. She contributed to the development of independent, self-reliant women who, to this day, hold fond, treasured memories of this special period of their young lives. So we just wanted to take a moment to publicly acknowledge her. The family did receive the resolution so that they could read it at her homegoing ceremony. Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline Cox, and I'm one of the many Girl Scouts who benefited from the loving care, attention that was given to us as Girl Scouts. Her co-leader was Mrs. Hughes, which is also was a longtime member of the community. The correct name is Loiseau. So her and her husband owned the fuel company, Loiseau Fuel. Some of you who are longtime Plainfield residents will recognize that name. Another family member owned the Loiseau Lumber Company that was on South Avenue. So what I found commendable is a woman who could have led a comfortable life and given nothing back to the community, made more than a decade sacrifice to benefit the young women of our community. So I stand in her honor and again recognize the council for acknowledging her contributions. And I encourage all of us to reach out and touch at least the life of one, if not more, youth, because they're our future. So thank you.
Thank you so much. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for public comments, limited to resolutions and ordinances being considered this evening. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name, address, and identify the resolution or ordinance that you wish to speak about. If you'd like to call in, the information is on the website for our calling in. Go right ahead.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Turtletaub, Turteltaub. I'm an attorney here today representing Quick 206 LLC, which operates a store at the corner of Arlington and 7th at 202 West 7th. The purpose why I'm here tonight is on Ordinance 2024-18. This ordinance seeks to regulate or actually preclude the sale of products of THC 8, or Delta 8, Delta 8, Delta 9, and Delta 10. These are products that are already being regulated by the state of New Jersey under the Hemp Farming Act, which is at NJSA 4:28-6. In that act, the idea is to promote the sale and production of hemp-related products, which are being banned by this ordinance. This is something the state has taken the jurisdiction over after the Federal Farm Act of 2018. The state also adopted its own resolution, its own statutes to govern this. And this includes the promotion and the sale of these products. Now, when I say Delta 9, there is a limitation on Delta 9, which is 0.3, which you recognize in your ordinance. And anything over 0.9, that can't be sold. That's regulated under the cannabis laws. But with respect to anything that's below that, which this ordinance seeks to preclude, especially in the case of Delta 8 and Delta 10, those products are not deemed to be controlled substances under the statute and are not regulated, and the state has, again, the Farming Act, the Hemp Farming Act, seeks to promote the sale of those products. So this ordinance, as I see it, it seems to usurp authority that the state of New Jersey has stepped in on, has taken control of, has issued its own laws and regulations on, and I believe this council should reconsider this ordinance as it pertains to those substances. Again, anything over 0.3 in THC and Delta 9, that would be cannabis, and the rules and the laws governing cannabis, which is under NJSA 24:6I-2 at SEC, you would follow those. But as it pertains to anything below that, that would be non-regulated, and again, the state has taken jurisdiction on that, and I think this ordinance then steps in on the state's territory in this. So again, I would ask you to table it, to reconsider this ordinance as it pertains to items that the state has taken control on, and to allow the store owners like my client to continue selling these products, which are legal, not only legal, but also encouraged to be sold in this state. And I thank you very much.
Thank you. Name, address, and ordinance, please.
Good evening. My name is Linda Cruz, K-R-U-S like in Sam E. I live in Bedminster, but I look forward to moving back to Plainfield in July or August, and having been a resident here for years before. I'm here tonight, and thank you to the council and to the members of the city. I'm here to talk about Resolution 213 regarding St. Bernard's Church and the Renew property on George Street. We received the agenda for this meeting tonight, Friday evening, so unfortunately, all the parishioners that I know you love to see were not here tonight, as well as the pastor and executive director both had previous commitments. We know, Ms. Fields, that you spoke about the director of Renew, the executive director of Renew, saying that he had committed to the parking lot continuing to be used. Having spoken to him today and to the pastor today, I think there's tremendous confusion. Someone brought up the easement, the property line has been under discussion. There are just so many numerous open issues regarding this property. There is no assurance that, even from the executive director of Renew today, that the parking lot and the parking for the community that goes to St. Bernard's and to the charter school will be assured. So I would just ask that we convene a meeting, certainly under your guidance, Ms. Fields, to get the parties together to confirm that, yes, we do have this ability going forward, because as of this afternoon, it was not clear at all to the main parties involved. So I look forward to working together with the council and with the economic development team to ensure that not only are the parishioners of St. Bernard's cared for, but also the community where the streets are completely filled now and do not have the ability to handle more traffic there. So in light of the fact that there's tremendous confusion among the parties involved, I would just ask that we table this resolution to give the entire organization a chance to review it, to understand what was meant. And I know that you've said the concerns have since been resolved. The executive director has not had any conversations since the city council meeting on March 11th. So I think we just have some significant open issues, and I know we want to make sure that the parish continues to thrive and that the community around it continues to thrive. I appreciate your help. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight, and I'm also grateful that you took the time to listen during the zoning board and the city council to all the parishioners, making them feel very much a part of the city. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Nancy Fever, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. I want to concur with what Ms. Cruz just said. We appreciate that the City Council listened in March, but there still needs to be more time to review to satisfactorily resolve this for all the parties involved. The other issue is that there are at least two errors and in the resolution. One you pointed out was 14, it should be 24, and there's a property error in one of the whereases. So for that reason, I also asked that it be tabled until all the parties can sit down and discuss it. I was in on the conversations this morning, as Ms. Cruz said, and unfortunately, the pastor couldn't be here tonight because of conflicting conflicts, and so with the executive director of Renew. It is an issue. The church has been in this area since 1915. The property has been owned by the church since 1927, when one of the parishioners gave it to the church as a convent, and it's now the parking lot, because in the 1960s they were able to build a convent for the Sisters of Charity. So I respectfully request that the city consider it. And obviously, you bifurcated the other study from West 4th Street. That's Resolution 210, and bifurcated it into 213. So there's two different things from the study. So I think Ms. Cruz is correct about the confusion, and I think it's in the best interest in the city and the council to table it until the next month, so all the parties can sit down and resolve the issues. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Name, address, and resolution that you're speaking regarding.
All right. Good evening. My name is Taji Jackson. I reside at 54 Raymond Ave, Plainfield, and I'm just wanted to bring up that I just have a concern for the safety on Raymond Ave. I brought my house at around like 2021, and I just noticed there was just numerous speeding going up and down on Raymond Ave, and I witnessed multiple vehicles either.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes.
But we do have a portion where we can allow general comment.
Oh, I
This
see.
is just for resolutions, and I noticed that you didn't mention a specific resolution that you're speaking regarding. I'll invite you up shortly.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anyone on the phone? Okay. Enable that person to be heard. Go right ahead, sir. Name, address, and resolution, please.
Enable that person to be heard.
You need to turn down where you're listening to the recording at so you can hear us.
Oh, shoot.
Turn down where you're listening to recording at so you can hear us.
Oh, shoot.
Turn down where you're listening to recording at so you can hear us.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work, unfortunately. Okay. Anyone else on virtually? All right. Okay, I'll have a motion to close public comment.
So move.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any oppositions or abstentions? All right, let's see. Okay, we now move to consideration of public hearing, second reading and final passage. Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-13 by title and certify that the ordinance has complied with all statutory publication requirements.
MC 2024-13 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16, Vehicles and Traffic,
Article 5, limiting the use of streets to certain class of vehicles, subsection 16:5-2B, parking forbidden on all streets to certain vehicles. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 12, 2024.
Okay, the floor is open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. Hearing and seeing none, in person or virtually, may I have a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage? And if adopted, the ordinance shall be published as required by law. Motion, please.
Motion.
Moved.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call?
Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms, Councilman Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-14.
MC 2024-14 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union adopting the TODD South Redevelopment Plan Amendment dated February 1st, 2024. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 12th, 2024.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none in person and none virtually, I'll accept a motion to close public hearing on this ordinance.
So moved.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-15 by title and certify its compliance.
MC 2024-15 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 Economic Development of the City of Plainfield by amending Article 10, Section 2:10-6C Fee Schedule Update. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 12th, 2024.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none in person and hearing none virtually, I'll accept a motion in a second to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-15. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes,
That's unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
thank you. Deputy Clerk, please read MC 2024-16 by title and certify its compliance with the law.
MC 2024-16 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union amending Chapter 20, the Cannabis Transfer Tax and User Tax, Article 1, Section 20:1-1E. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 12th, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none in person and hearing none virtually, I'll accept a motion in a second to close public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
And may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, clerk, roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-16. Council members Briggs Jones,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
Sessoms,
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt,
Yes.
Vice President Graham,
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-17 and certify its compliance with the law.
MC 2024-17 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union creating Chapter 17, Article 9, Section 49D titled Shade Tree Replacement and Removal to establish an application process for the replacement and removal of shade trees. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 12, 2024.
Okay, the floor is now open to any member of the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none in person and hearing none virtually, I'll take a motion in a second.
So moved.
Close public comment. It is closed. May I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading
So
and
moved.
final passage?
So moved.
Second.
Can we have a roll call, clerk?
Roll call MC 2024-17. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham. Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-18 by title and certify as complied with the law.
MC 2024-18 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield in the County of Union amending and supplementing Chapter 17 Land Use, specifically Chapter 17:9-24A, prohibiting the manufacture, sale, advertisement, or concealment of any illicit THC product. It is hereby certified that notice of a public hearing on this ordinance was published in the Courier News on March 12, 2024.
The floor is now open to any member of the public who would like to speak on this ordinance. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening again, Mr. President and ladies and gentlemen of the council. I spoke earlier, and I don't need to repeat the comments unless the council would like to in this session here. But the ordinance itself speaks to Delta 8, Delta 9, and Delta 10 products, which are all governed by the New Jersey Hemp Farming Act, and which the state of New Jersey has taken the initiative to and enacted laws and regulations to govern the sale of these products and the production and sale of these products. And I believe this ordinance goes beyond the ability of this council to override what the state has already taken upon itself to do, and it's inconsistent with the state law. So for that regard, I asked this council to reconsider this ordinance and/or really to decline to adopt this ordinance on the basis that it does go into areas taken over by the state for its jurisdiction. I thank you for earlier having listened to me. I enjoyed also hearing all the presentations tonight of all the good things happening in the city, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, seeing and hearing no others, I'll close public comment on this motion.
So moved.
Okay, you need a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll give before we give a motion and second to pass it, I'll allow our counselor to chime in on it.
Thank you, Council President. A couple of things. I disagree with a couple of statements made by Mr. Turtletaub, specifically that the state regulates Delta 8, Delta 9, and Delta 10 THC. Specifically, these products are being sold, I think as previously mentioned, under the Farm Bill. Mr. Turtletaub said that. That is in fact correct. But there's a loophole. Because they have been permissible under the Farm Bill, they are not regulated by the state. I understand that Mr. Turtletaub's here with his client. I would venture to guess that his client does not have any license from the Cannabis Regulatory Commission, the CRC. This ordinance does specifically that. It says that if you are regulated by the CRC and you have a license, you are able to operate. If you don't, you cannot. So we are not specifically banning THC in Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10 across the board. What we're saying is that you have to be regulated by a state agency if you want to sell a product in the city of Plainfield. And the reason we do that is to make sure that all the products that are sold here are safe. When it comes to these THC products, we do not know what is in them because they are not regulated by a state agency. So that is what this ordinance attempts to do. It attempts to permit the sale of regulated product, but prohibit the sale of unregulated product. And that's really what we're attempting to do here. So I hope that if there are any specific questions, I'm happy to answer.
Does any council members have any questions of our counselor? Okay. All right. Then may I have a motion to adopt this ordinance on second reading and final passage, and if adopted, shall be published as required by law?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call?
Roll call, MC 2024-18, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on second reading and final passage.
Okay. Clerk, would you please announce the consent agenda?
Yes, Council President. Those consent agenda items are identified as resolutions 182-24 through 190-24, 192-24 through 212-24, and 214-24 through 216-24. Not on the consent agenda are resolutions 191-24 and 213-24.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call on the consent agenda?
So roll call on those consent agenda items. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
Councilman McCray.
Yes.
Okay.
Councilwoman Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. The consent agenda items have been approved.
Okay. Please announce the non-consent agenda items.
Resolution 191-24, authorizing the introduction of the calendar year 2024 Plainfield Municipal Operating Budget.
Okay, can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Clerk, may we have a roll call?
So roll call on the budget. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cherry.
Yes.
Councilman McCray.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. The budget has been introduced. And finally, we have Resolution 213-24, designating Block 458, Lot 2, Block 458, Lot 2.01 as a non-condemnation redevelopment area.
Okay, can we have a motion and a second? Any mover? Any other wishes of the council? Perhaps the table? I don't know. I don't hear any motion or second.
Table it.
Is that a motion to table?
I did hear a motion to table.
Need a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, can I have
A motion to table 213, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes, table it.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. 213-24 has been tabled.
Okay, we now come to ordinances on first reading. Madam Deputy, would you please read MC 2024-19 by title?
MC 2024-19 is an ordinance of the City of Plainfield, County of Union, New Jersey, adopting the East 3rd Street Entertainment District redevelopment plan dated April 4th, 2024.
I will now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, clerk, may I have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-19, council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray. Yes. Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yeah.
Vice President Graham.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-20 by title.
MC 2024-20 is an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 16A, Article 16A, Section 2, Schedule 2, no parking, certain hours on both sides of street for entire block of West End Avenue from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
I'll now entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance on first reading.
So move.
Okay, clerk, can I have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-20. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Grimm.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, Madam Deputy, please read MC 2024-21 by title.
MC 2024-21 is an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 48:4-4514.
I'll entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-21. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Grimm.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been introduced on first reading.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-22 by title.
MC 2024-22 is an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 4:1-6, Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages, Article 1, Section 6, Hours of Opening and Sale.
Okay, may I have a motion in a second?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Roll call MC 2024-22. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
No.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
No.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Grimm.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
5 in favor, 2 opposed. This resolution has been adopted on first reading.
Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-23 by title.
MC 2024-23 is an ordinance to amend Title 8 Health Code of the Code of the City of Plainfield to establish Chapter 8:6-1 entitled Lead-Based Paint Inspections to require the inspection of certain residential rental dwellings for lead-based paint hazards.
I'll entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Roll call MC 2024-23. Council members Briggs Jones.
Yes.
Cherry.
Yes.
McCray.
Yes.
Sessoms.
Yes.
Councilman Wyatt.
Yes.
Vice President Grimm.
Yes.
Council President Hockaday.
Yes.
That is unanimous. This ordinance has been adopted on first reading.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please read MC 2024-18 by title.
That page is actually a typo. We're
Okay.
concluded with the ordinances.
Okay, that's the last one?
Correct.
All right, so that's the last one? There's nothing for, okay. All right, so we'll now move to general comment. A total of 30 minutes has been allocated for all public comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. If any member of the public would like to call in, dial 646-558-8656. That number is also on the website. Enter the meeting ID 938-3643-9534. Name and address for the record. The floor is now open.
Thank you again. My name is Taji Jackson. I reside at 54 Raymond Ave, Plainfield. And I just have a comment for safety regarding Raymond Ave. It's just been, since I've been here, I moved in around 2021, and I just witnessed so much speeding. It's just ridiculous. It's back and forth all the time. In November, my car used to park in front of my house, and it was actually struck and almost totaled out. The previous owner informed me actually that his truck was totaled when he parked in front of the same residence. And I just heard about more other accidents that were happening on the street due to just the numerous speeding. I did notice that there is a radar in the middle of the street that does help, and I did notice more police presence, which I would like to thank the director for making that happen. However, I do believe, because I'm a police officer myself, I just believe it would be better for us to just have some speed bumps on the street so we can just free up the law enforcement. They can just help out other civilians in other arenas, and we could just be safer. There's like a lot of people that's just walking back and forth, and I would just hate to see somebody get struck because somebody is just speeding up and down without regard of the residents. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and just again, thank you for increasing the police presence. Have a good day.
Good evening, name and address.
Good evening. My name is Celeste Matsumoto. I reside on 809 Kensington Avenue. I'm a longtime resident of Plainfield. I grew up here. I graduated from high school here. And presently, what's going on that I'm seeing, I'm here to talk about congestion. With influx of multiple people purchasing homes in my neighborhood, as of the last year, there's been 3 single-family homes within the 800 block that has been converted. I welcome the renovations and the conversion of and the upkeep of the homes, but presently they were single-family homes. They are now presently being converted into 5 to 4 family homes. So presently, what's going on is there's congestion in the block, to where the parking has been an issue, where people are pulling and blocking driveways and things like that. You don't see it during the day because during that time, people are at work. In the evening, when we're coming home, there's cars all the way down the street on both sides of the parking lot. So at this point, the integrity of the neighborhood is basically at is no longer what it has been. I understand that the properties are multifamily, they're large homes, but to convert a single family home into at least 4 to 5 apartments creates a environment for transients. So because the apartments are smaller and chopped up, the homes are chopped up, you don't have people who want to stay in the neighborhood. So you're constantly having rotation in and out of the neighborhoods. So if I'm coming home at night from work, I don't know who my neighbors are anymore. I don't see this. So my proposal to the city council is to, when renovating homes that from single family to multifamily, take the square footage into consideration. Those homes are made for single parent families, not that they're because of the size, because they're Victorian homes and they're considered in a historic neighborhood. That they're you have to take in consideration the integrity of the neighborhood that it has been, opposed to it going from a quiet neighborhood into where we have this summer will be the first summer that we have this amount of people in the neighborhood. So this will be a telling point as to what kind of neighborhood it's transitioned to. The other issue is...
You can finish your sentence. The time has run out.
Sorry. The other issue is that when you speak to people, they don't have the same agenda for the living space. If you ask them not to park in front of your driveway and things like that,
Thank you.
it's becomes an issue. So that my point I wanted is to, the other thing is to have the inspectors come to the homes, because there was no inspection, what is it?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you
Okay,
off.
but what I'm saying is, there was, when the
Council President.
properties were being renovated, there was no
Thank you.
stickers that said that they had.
Council President, I'm sorry, fortunately, the speaker's time is elapsed. I'm
Okay.
sorry. But we have some, we'd like to speak with you. Yeah, if you have-
Ma'am, after the meeting, there's someone who'd like to speak with you regarding your issues, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Good evening. My name is Robert F. Edwards. I live at 510A West 4th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I wanted to raise several issues. One is I brought to the City Council about electromagnetic radiation flooding my apartment, and these are 2 pictures taken by code enforcement May 12. This is one. This is the meter that you, President, are familiar with. Subsequently, the Housing Authority has created a gas leak on October 7th, 2023, in which PS&G had to come in and shut it down. 19 days later, they reinstalled the defective oven, created a fire in October 26th, which the fire department had to come and put out. Then they laced a new stove on October 30th with polyurethane, which I haven't been able to use since. Subsequently, 3/25/24, I've been electrocuted by that same phone and had to go to RJ, what am I talking about? JFK, I'm sorry, JFK Hospital for electrocution. Within 10, let me see, here, on 4/3/20, my exposure to gaseous substance in the apartment sent me to JFK again, in which they made this diagnosis. All these issues are happening within 510 West 4th Street. Here's the paperwork to substantiate that. And most importantly, they're releasing some substance in the apartment that sent me to the hospital. This is the third time in less than a year I've had to go to JFK. Based on whatever it is that they're doing or attempting to do, it is totally unsafe for me. And at this point in time, I'm sick. And I have to see doctors to try to figure out how to correct what the Housing Authority is doing to me 24/7. And I come to the City Council for help to at least look at the information that I present to determine if, in fact, all these things are happening.
Thank you for your comments. Please leave copies of what you have with our clerk's office so we can take a look at it.
I'm sorry.
Your copies you can give, if you have copies for us, you can leave it with the clerk's office
Okay.
for our review.
Sure.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dewana Chandler. I'm here with my husband, Patrick Chandler. We are the homeowner residents of 31-37 Cedar Court. It's a corner property which is across from Cedarbrook Park. Due to the increased usage of Cedarbrook Park and the people who use it, has created an ongoing and ridiculous issue of trash and litter that is coming onto our property, and that trash and litter includes food containers, bottles that contain urine, liquor bottles, everything that's mixed into our leaves and debris. The city of Plainfield actually owns that part of the property because we're 5 feet in. I also have caught people multiple times relieving themselves on our property, having to verbally confront them and so on and so forth. And it's creating a problem. People come and they park, they play their music at all hours of the night besides the park being open. We're trying to be understandable because it is a park, it is for public use. So we expect a certain level of peace, of our peace being affected. However, people coming on our property to relieve themselves, defecation or urination, food, garbage, and everything that I've mentioned before is ridiculous. I'm asking that the city of Plainfield possibly install a sidewalk, because there is not a sidewalk, it's just ground or dirt and bushes. If a sidewalk can be installed along with 2 trash receptacles and a sign posted, or I can buy signs off of Amazon and post them myself, but I would appreciate it, being that we pay taxes and it's our property, that people have some level of respect. We don't mind you using the park and everything, you have to use the park, but be respectful and considerate of the residents who live there. And we shouldn't have to clean up behind you, we're not janitors. Now, taking care of our property is one thing, and making sure that it's, you know, it looks like it's supposed to look, but having to clean up behind people who are just inconsiderate and act like they have no home training is ridiculous. My husband and myself, we're up in age, we have some physical difficulties, so we can't continue to do that. And I don't think it's fair for us to have to consider selling our home in order to get the peace and respect that we deserve. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if someone could point me in the right direction, I don't know if it's Union County, I don't know if it's the city of Plainfield, or what. So I'm just looking for a little help in a peaceable resolution. Thank you.
Nancy Peever, 1129 Myrtle Avenue. I appreciate this woman's comments because I live near a park too, and I can appreciate what she's saying because there's been issues in Greenbrook Park, and one of them is going to be solved with the ordinance about the parking. I appreciate that, City Council and City Administration. I also want to thank you for understanding and listening to us tonight. I do appreciate that. And I also want to thank Director Abney and Director Dabney. There was an issue that I had to deal with a couple weeks ago, and I want to just say that your officers and your employees are beyond being professional and kind and respectful, and I appreciate that. I do have one question. A young lady asked me to ask this at City Council, and you may not have the answer to it, and it's about the mattresses that are around. Evidently, she was under the understanding, and she asked me to ask this question, that the transfer station does not allow people to use U-Hauls to bring things to the transfer station. And her belief is that might be one of the reasons why people just get fed up and just dump the mattresses if they have them in their cars or if they have them in their SUVs. So we just need a clarification if that is the policy from the city, and perhaps that is one of the reasons why we're seeing, I mean, every street now lately has a mattress that's just there. And the other night when I was talking to her, she had moved out of the city and she tried to use a U-Haul to bring things to the transfer station, and evidently she was told that you can't bring a U-Haul there. You have to bring your own private vehicle, your own private truck, and not every resident has the ability to have their own truck or, you know, dump thing to bring there. So if maybe we need to look into that if that's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening. Name and address for the record.
Good evening. Shirley Davis, 810 Kensington Avenue in Plainfield. Mayor, City Council, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I was thinking I was here last month. Well, what can I say? I'm very disappointed in what's going on in my block. I've been a taxpayer along with my husband for over 40 years. There's no time that you could see any record that we did not pay our tax. It's important. My children came out of the school system and doing extremely well. I live in the neighborhood now that they are concerned about their parents because beautiful houses have turned into a 3-family house. Beautiful garages back in early 1800s are now homes. I have not gotten not one permit that it should go on. I'm extremely upset. My children are upset because they're concerned about their parents. The neighborhood is gone. We don't know who's in the neighborhood. Houses, parking, it's all over. Sometimes I can come home and someone isn't parking in my driveway because so much is going on. Basements in 2 homes are people living in the basement, and I know that's against the law. Again, I like to bring up my children. They don't know it's one time they can come home, their parents' home have been burnt down because next door neighbors and garage neighbors are unlawful living. So I'm saying this, it should not be. This beautiful block It's no longer a beautiful block. There are times at nighttime, there's a cars with their lights on. Well, what is that about? I'm very upset, this beautiful neighborhood. As you see, I'm a senior citizen. As you see, I don't want to move out of Plainfield. My children are very successful. Again, I'm repeating. School system, high school, college, they did very, very well because we had this beautiful neighborhood. It has changed. I'm afraid. I am afraid. My husband's afraid, and he's a man because it has changed. Why did the city let something like this happen? Why did the city not send me, my husband, a permit that is going on? Thank you so very much, Mayor. Thank you for City Council.
Thank you.
Thank you for each and every one of you who's doing a job.
Thank you.
Let's get Plainfield back again. Donald Trump said he's going to make the city well. We can make Plainfield well also again. Thank you. 800, in between Watchon and Putnam. Thank you again.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no one else in the audience, is there anyone online?
There is one person online.
Okay, please enable them, unmute them so they can speak. Name and address for the record, for the individual who is virtual.
There is one person online.
Yes.
Okay, please enable them, unmute them so they can speak.
Ma'am, if you're
Name and
watching
address.
on YouTube, you need to turn off
Yes.
the YouTube and then the phone,
Okay.
please.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Perfectly now.
Okay, good. So my name is Shirley Sutherland Lewis, and I live at 1094 Central Avenue. And I'm calling because I have a concern for a question, and it is a concern. I want to know who's responsible for the task, who has the task and the responsibility in the event of a crisis or a disaster. Because last week, when 4.8 came to visit us, I called the police department, not the emergency line. I called the police department, and I asked, who should I call or what do we do? I was told, well, we don't know what you should do. You have to wait because we haven't gotten word yet. So who's responsible for putting out the word on what procedure we should take? Some people were going outside. And I learned you're not supposed to go outside. They were going in the basement. Should you go in the basement? Who is responsible for directing the citizens of Plainfield when it comes to a disaster? What is the protocol? Maybe I've been watching too much, the fire department picture on television. But in my mind, does the mayor direct all the activity when it comes to a disaster? I mean, what happened to the robocalls? We never got any robocalls saying, you know, everything is under control or not under control. How is this working? That's number one. Number two, I understand exactly what the other two ladies were speaking about because I'm a senior citizen myself. And it is really changing around the city of Plainfield. A car was parked in front of my house and my neighbor's house. We called the police. It took them 20 minutes to get from the police station or wherever they were to Plainfield and Parkside. So where can I find the answers to these questions at? And is there a response team available to notify the people? We do have a lot of seniors, handicapped people in the area. We even have a child sign. So, how does this thing work if you have to evacuate? How does it work? I'm done for now.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Anyone else virtually? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So moved.
Can I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions or opposition? Okay, public hearing is now closed. Is there any member of the administration that wants to address the contingency plan or the emergency plan or the announcements in light of any crisis or catastrophe that could happen?
Yes, we'll respond. Now, I know our OEM coordinator is Director Childress, but I must say that earthquakes are not regular occurrences in the state of New Jersey. And this is one that certainly I don't think any of us planned or prepared for that earthquake. But the questions that were raised by Ms. Lewis are very valid questions. And it has given me a lot of food for thought. So we will go back and we will address the concerns raised by those questions posed by Mrs. Lewis. And we will certainly have a plan should this happen again. So we would take this as a matter of a priority and make sure that we are ready to respond. Because, a valid point was made. We could have put out a robocall and we didn't. There are things that we could have done that we didn't do. Now, I don't know if you have anything to add, Director Childress.
Yes, the robocall did go out on the Nixon system. We also put it in Facebook, I believe, on the city's Facebook page, and I also sent the article to Tap Into newspaper. All that occurred within 15, 20 minutes of the earthquake.
That's the truth. Yep, that's the truth. But we will go back to the drawing board and we will put a full-blown plan in place so that we could, be more responsive to the concerns raised. And the other point that I want to make is about the concerns raised relative to the 800 block. And can you remind me of your name again, please? No. Right, yeah. Bates? Thank you, Ms. Davis. My apologies for not, catching your name. We are very concerned about those concerns that you raise. And I'll make sure that the administration, the appropriate department, take a look at the concerns you expressed relative to the 800 block. So there should be some action coming forth from this administration. And as far as Raymond Avenue is concerned, no, he left. Okay. As far as Raymond Avenue is concerned, we have, as the young man said, placed extra patrols on Raymond Avenue. And a lot of our residents are aware that based on the New Jersey Department of Transportation, in order for speed humps to be placed on any street, the average daily traffic has to be less than 3,000. If it's 3,000 or more, we can't place speed humps on a particular roadway. But what we have decided that we will do, and we conducted a traffic study on Raymond in 2023, and the traffic count was exceeded the 3,000, so we cannot put speed humps there. However, with stepped-up enforcement, our goal is to repeat the traffic study sometime in a not-too-distant future. Hopefully, the stepped-up patrols on Raymond would result in a reduction of the average daily traffic count on that street, because the people who now speed through on Raymond to get to 22 would be discouraged from doing so as a result of the number of tickets that Director Abney will make sure our officers issue to the speeding motorists on Raymond. And hopefully that will drive down the average daily traffic count, thus qualifying Raymond for speed humps. So we will revisit that in the coming weeks and months. Those are the items that I can remember. If there's anything else.
Yeah, the only other thing I want to mention, you had that question about the U-Hauls. So it is true that the Department of Environmental Protection has, it does not allow us anymore to have U-Hauls come through at the transfer station. And so it's not a rule that Plainfield made, but it was a DEP rule. And that's because usually it's commercial haulers that are bringing things through a U-Haul and trying to get one over on the system, and so that's why that went away. There are options, though, for residents who are looking to get rid of mattresses, and so if anybody's in that situation, if I would encourage them to call down to the transfer station. There's quite a few options that we have for them.
Okay. Sure. Go right ahead.
I'll try to be brief. I was given an email in which, with several questions that I was asked to update at this meeting, so I'll try to be as quick as possible. Since the March meeting, how many animals have been placed on title shots, dogs, cats, and others? From my animal control services provider, there were 7 dogs, 1 cat in March. All 7 dogs were returned to their owners, and the cat was given to the rescue group after 7 days on hold. As of today, in April, there are 4 dogs and 2 cats at the shelter. 2 cats will be transferred to a rescue group for adoption tomorrow. 3, what are the city's attempts to inform the residents of when an animal is in its possession? Where does Plainfield post this for residents to see if the pet is with the city shelter? And can we have posted on the city's website and social media pages weekly with photos of animals? I think that that's something we have discussed, but I do think that is an undue burden on the city. I do think that what they can do if individuals lost their animals is to contact the shelter. That number is posted on the website. So if you've lost your animal, you can call the website, and not call the website, call the shelter that we have contracted with. Has a representative from the city conducted a site visit of the facility? Yes. Has there been any concern regarding the treatment of those there? First, I want to emphasize that the city of Plainfield has no authority in other towns. Our health division does not. However, we did make some recommendations in which the vendor did do. So we're very glad about that. Are there any updates that can be shared with finding other locations? There are no updates despite the hundreds of people who were concerned about this issue. I do have a meeting this week. Other than that, no one has come forth with any alternatives or options. Does the city have to use one facility, or can multiple facilities be under contract with smaller numbers to spread out across the state and reduce the potential for overcrowding? Yes, but it may increase costs and be a logistical challenge. Just simply, there are approximately, 10 or 12 more cities that are now looking for animal control. So while we can spread it out, as with anything, when there's more demand there is supply, the price will go up. So because we have one contract with one agency, they will maintain that contract. Another agency will add more money to it. So it'll be a significant increase, but we are open to that option. I hope I've answered all those questions, Council President. Thank you.
And Mr. President, if I can add, I still would like all of the people who were here last month and who continue to see this issue as important to contact my administration with any recommendations or suggestions. We are open. So if people in the audience, if people online know of a place where Plainfield can contact and try to explore the possibility of entering into negotiations relative to a service contract, we are open to that idea. So we want to hear from you. We don't have all the answers. We would love to hear from the animal rights community in the city of Plainfield or within the sound of my voice who might have a solution that Plainfield can embrace. We are open. So bring us the solutions, bring us the suggestions.
Okay, I have one thing to say. It's in regards to Cedar Court. Ma'am, I will contact the Union County Police Chief, and I will work with the Union County Police Department because they are responsible for the parks, and we will work something out to make sure that this does not go on at your house anymore.
Thank you. Okay, I think all concerns have been addressed. I appreciate everybody from coming out. And to the council colleagues, I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.